Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Paul Leslie and I'll be your instructor this semester for the PME or GDE PME 810, the Integrated Planning and Instruction and Assessment course. So I just wanted to walk you through a few points about the course and have a quick look at each of the modules and some of the assessments. I'll try to keep this short for you, but I do want to go over a few elements for you to keep in mind as you start the course. So I'm on the homepage here, and as you see there's some announcements. I haven't actually made the first announcement yet, but I do use the announcements quite regularly, and so I strongly encourage you to subscribe so that you get all of the announcements. I usually email them as well after, but I'll also highlight here, and I'll share this in my first announcement, I do actually use my own personal portfolio site as well to share some thoughts. Sometimes I make announcements that are a bit more about the content, and so I'll share them here as well as in the announcements. But if you came here under Queen's Courses, you can see a lot of information, comments, and so forth that I've shared over the past, 6 or 7 years since I started teaching back for Queen's back in the summer of 2016. So, another document that I'm going to send out to you is this one. So this is a accompaniment document. I'll also send you the official Queen's syllabus, but I like to use this Word document, because I find it a little bit easier to use, and it's just one that I'm familiar with, so I'll share this with you as well. So you can see the dates. The first 2 modules are going to happen concurrently. We sort of start these 7-week courses, the spring course and the summer course, with quite a bit of work. We're taking 10 weeks of work and basically squeezing it into 7 weeks. The course and the content are exactly the same. The only thing different is the timeline. So that, of course, puts a lot of pressure on you and me to keep up with the content of the course. So if we look through the content, actually, let me share one more thing with you. If you come to the course readings and the course reserves link, I just discovered this myself after all these years. If you use EndNote or another bibliographic tool, it's very convenient to just click here, and you can export the entire reading list to Word, PDF, or to EndNote, which I use. I think as Queen students you get a free copy of EndNote, which is pretty much the best one to use. Anyways, you can export it, and then just saves you a lot of effort to track down and get the links to these readings. So very useful. So now, let's just have a look at each of these modules. So we have the introduction module. It's really, you're going to do a video about yourself. 2 to 3 minutes in length. Really stick to the length, and as a side note, for any written pieces as well, really try to stay within the word count. That allows your peers and me to access your work. If you go way over the word count or way over the length of these videos, people will tend to not want to spend all that time looking at your work. So the word counts are very, very useful and important, especially when I'm grading your work. So here, this is about curriculum. So what I want you to do is think about, how do you enact your curriculum development on a daily basis? What kinds of things do you think about before going into the classroom to determine what you're going to do? And I expect that this might be really quite different depending on the level that you teach and the subject that you teach. So I think this will be very interesting. This is not graded, but I think this is a great way to create a bit of community. And I do look back at these, so if you do this well, as I look through the remainder of your work, it's very easy for me to come back and see what you've posted here, and it really allows me and others to get a better idea of your perspective. So, include what level you teach, subject, and so forth. Okay, then we go on to Module 1, Conceptions of Curriculum. Here we're really talking about types or approaches towards curriculum, whether it's learner-centered, content-centered, inquiry-based. So there's a lot of readings, and they look at a lot of different terminology and approaches, but really they all boil down to 3 or 4 different types of approaches. So I'll leave that to you to discover. There's one discussion post. This is worth 15%. And again, the due dates are on this, but pretty much these assignments are due week by week. So this will be due right at the end of the first week. And the peer responses will be due usually the following Friday. And I do encourage you to do the peer responses. And I also strongly encourage everyone to respond to all comments on your own post. This isn't really part of the rubric, but I'll be very impressed if you do that. And so I'll let you to read through that. Then you'll move on to Module 2. This module is much more focused on the practicalities of engaging in your curriculum design and what it actually means when you try to go into the classroom. So it talks about introducing you to the philosophical foundations in education. But when we talk about things like teaching philosophy or the philosophy or vision behind what you want to do in the classroom, it's not really valuable until you can tell us what it means in your classroom. So this module is all about what does it actually mean when you go into your classroom. And here there's a team post. So there's one discussion post with one peer response, but you're in groups. So it does say somewhere here, if you were not able to work in a group of 2 because of time, you can ask permission to work individually. So that's perfectly fine, because as you'll discover, the next module also is based on the same topic. So if you decide to work in a group now, you'll be working in a group for the next 2 modules. So that might be challenging for some of you. I'm just going to leave that to you. If you want to do it, go right ahead and you can track someone down through the first module's post. Otherwise, you can do this individually as well. If you want to email me for further information, that's fine. This one is a visual representation, so it's going to be in the form of a flowchart, table, some kind of non-textual format. There will be a text-based description or accompanying text, but the main focus will be this visualization. Then on to Module 3, which is ever more focused on planning, instruction, and very, very practical elements. So here, as it says, introducing planning, instruction, and assessment at the micro or classroom level. So if you're working individually, that's great. If you decided to work with a partner, you should continue to work with that partner. This is particularly good if you can actually, if you're in the same time zone, that's very helpful if you want to have a partner. Here there's one discussion post and 2 peer responses. Again, more is better, and responding to all posts or all comments on your post is also great. And this is Module 3. So the ante is raised a little bit on this one. In Module 2, the post was worth 10%. This post is worth 25%. So that's quite a chunk for a discussion forum. So we'll be looking for your best work here. Then on to Modules 4, 5, and 6. These are all very much aligned. So as it says here, you really should now at this point read through all of the remaining 3 modules. You'll do 2 discussion posts that are sequential and build on each other in this Module 4. And then you'll select one post or one assignment from either Module 5 or Module 6. So here, there's 2 discussion forums. both worth 10%. So one is there's no responses, so you just post about this video. And then the second one is really you thinking about how can you design your own vision. And there's quite a really interesting discussion here. The article is actually from 1964, so it's even older than me. But as I read through it, it's really quite interesting. So from there, you'll go on to either Module 5, which is a deep dive into your vision. So this Module 5 is definitely much more sort of philosophical. You're really examining yourself. It's very introspective. You're examining your own teaching, your own vision for what you want to achieve, and really seeing if you can articulate that. The next one is based on a vision of what you want to do in the classroom, but has a much more practical focus. So in this case, there's an assumption that you have a vision and that you're now trying to figure out how do you implement this vision in the classroom. So it may be that if you're somewhat newer to the teaching profession, you might want to go with Module 5. If you've been teaching for many years and feel like you know what you're doing in the classroom, I might recommend that you tackle Module 6. So that's it for now. Again, the introduction and Module 1 are concurrent, so jump right into Module 1 and the readings. There are quite a few readings in Module 1, so jump into the course reserves. You can download all of those readings, and I highly recommend you get started right away. I'll send you an email as well with some of these notes, and this will all be in the announcements, which you've probably read before you saw this video. All right, that's it for now. I'll try to share more videos as we go along to explain each of the different sections in greater detail. Okay, thank you.